Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout I created with my scrap stash for December 2016. And I'm starting with a sketch that's from Page Maps, and I believe it's from December of 2016. And so I've pulled out tons of stuff that I think I want to use on this layout. It's a layout about snow and a snowstorm that moved into our area. And so I'm pulling everything, kind of sorting it out there on the desk so that I know where I want to start. I took that piece of paper with the red shipping stripe, is that what you call that? Anyway, I pulled that as I knew I wanted that to be my background, not only because it had that pop of red, but it also had snowflakes on it. Not crazy about where it says special delivery on it, but that's okay because I'm going to cover that up. And I've already got plans in my head when I pulled all of these supplies out what to do to cover it up. This paper I'm going to use for matting my photos on. It's not going to be a perfect mat, with just the borders showing. It's going to be a bigger mat. And then and I'm kind of looking to see how I'm going to cover up that special delivery. And I know that I want to kind of center that paper there. Part of the sketch had a strip of paper going across the top. And so I decided to pull that paper there with its white with foiled silver snowflakes on it, and I put it back there. And I know the other pieces of paper are kind of cream tone, and so I decided I still want to use this, and I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to kind of border it, and I'm going to use the glitter washi tape that I have, and it's kind of a more muted tone of silver, and so I think it kind of mutes that paper down a little bit. But the snow in the photos, in the top photo, is very white. Pulling out a couple other little scraps here to see if I want to use those anywhere on the layout. And I'm thinking, yeah, no. Don't want to use it this way, don't want to use it that way, just don't want to use it. So you can see I've taped down, used my glue runner to tape down the snowflake paper and put the washi tape down. Now I'm fixing that tag. It's one of those vellum tags that I had added into my kit, and because it was so very sheer, I went ahead and added a cut apart tag behind that, and I'm kind of looking to see what else I'm going to use. I know I pulled out one of these stars. It's an old one from Recollections last year. It's already die cut, and the pack came with silver, gray, and blue snowflakes, and I pulled out a gray one here to use because of the darker gray paper that I have in the layout. But I've also pulled in those foamy, up in the right corner are some foamy stickers, snowflake stickers, and I know I'm going to use those somewhere on the layout. There's part of my title there where it says snow. I knew because of the red border, I knew I had this little piece, and it's been in my stash for years, and I wanted to use it as my title for this one because that's what the layout is really all about, is snow and the snowstorm that we had. I live in Lubbock, Texas, and so when snow hits like this, it kind of is debilitating for our area because we're not used to it. We get a light dusting every now and again through the winter time, but nothing like this storm produced. This was what they called Snowmageddon for us. It dropped probably on Lubbock, I'm guessing a good 8 or 9 inches overnight, throughout a day, probably in about a total of maybe 9 or 10 hours. Which for us is remarkable. So I want to put that tag up there, but there's a little border of that gray snowflake paper behind it, so I think I need a little something to cover that. So I added a little piece of silver washi tape there and add that right on top. And so I like that much better. And so then I'm just continuing to look around what kind of embellishments of the ones that I have am I going to use. I've already glued that down, so I decide I want something rather than a button to go in the hole for the tag. I decided to get this star out that I added to this kit, and I just mashed both the little prongs down to one side, and then slipped it in there and put a little glue dot behind it to hold it. Pulling other things in that I want to use. Looking at this, and it says let it snow, and that would have been a perfect embellishment right there if I hadn't already added that tag that said let it snow. But I don't think I could have peeled that tag up. I didn't even try. But I'm looking to see what else, because I put that December up there, I need to add some additional black to kind of balance the black in there. And so rather than peel the photo up and add that border strip across there, I just add it right there and then cut it off. It didn't really stick to that foiled paper, so I had to go back later after I finished the video and everything, and I added some glue dots behind there to hold it down. So I like how that looks, but I still need, that whole designer thing of needing 3 colors or 3 embellishments that are like to balance the layout. That's what I'm thinking. I've got to have another bit of black. And I found this sticker that says Delight. And so I think, okay, I'm going to use that as part of my title. And I thought about adding Delight in Snow, and then I thought, no, I'd have to move that too far over on the photo. And then I thought, okay, Snow Delight. Okay, we can do that. So then I decide, where am I going to add this? Am I going to add it up here on this tag? Am I going to add it back down there? When I added it to the bottom right hand corner, it felt too heavy and too far off the layout and the background paper, and it just didn't feel right. So I'm still considering where I'm going to put it. It's just laying up there for now. And I decide I am going to put it down here under the snow and have the title be Snow Delight. But then I think, okay, well, I'm almost ready to push down. And then I think, no, I've got another one of those snowflakes. And so I think, okay, let me add it here. So I do. I add it right there, just a little different angle. And I didn't glue down every single prong. I just put a few glue dots around the back of the little branches of the snowflake to just kind of anchor it down, but it still has a lot of lift and give in it to add some shadow and shading, and put just a touch of my glue runner in the middle. And so I angled it down a little bit from the first one, put my snow back down, and then add that Delight in there, and that feels perfect to me. And so that's where that's going to stay. So then I go through and I look, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put things? Where am I going to put my journaling? And then I think, oh, I don't want to put my journaling on this tag because I really, really want to put my owl there. Sorry, I think I am adjusting the television. I'm watching process videos as I'm creating this layout. And sometimes I get quite perturbed with the different designers that do layouts, and I have to fast forward them or whatever. And so I think that's what I was doing. And so I decide in my infinite wisdom that I needed to pop up this owl as well. And the owl is very intricately cut. It's a Sizzix die that I got last summer. Beautiful Sizzix die. And I cut it out of that silver mercury paper that I got in a paper stack a couple of years ago, I believe. Either Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And I got it there, and I had a scrap of it, and so I cut this out. So I decided to put foam tape behind there, and so I'm still cutting out tiny little bits and pieces of foam tape and adding to the back. And I'm about ready to start peeling up the back sides of those so that it will lay down. And I'm going to put it on top of that tag. And it just looks beautiful. I love that little die. And I can think of all kinds of ways to use it on cards as well. I could have cut some like fun foam out and put behind it. That might be something that I attempt to do if I make a card with it. Because really cutting those little pieces of foam tape was a bit annoying, and then having to go back through and peel all the back sides off. Yeah, a little bit of a frustration there, but I got it done, and it turned out so lovely. Oh, it makes me happy looking at it. And so there I'm adding my third little foamy. So I'm debating what am I going to put and where am I going to put it. Thinking about some bling on here and where I'm going to put that. And so I love that it has the clear and the black, because the black just gives everything a little extra something on this layout. And I think because my bushes there are so dark, and there's actually a piece on the left side of the photo, there's a little piece of the brickwork on the front of the house, and so it gives it a little bit of a dark border to that photo. And so adding in those little bits and pieces of black through there just somehow makes it easier on the eye, the whole layout easier on the eye. I'm adding on some of these little stars that were, I had some leftover foil paper and I punched those out. And so I'm just adding them around on the layout. A lot of the scraps that I added to this kit, I went through and I die cut quite a few pieces so that I would have all kinds of different images or label pieces, stars, snowflakes, that kind of stuff. My enamel dots there are faceted, and I believe they're close to my heart, and they came in a 3-pack. You had the lighter silver ones, you had the gray ones, and then you had the white ones, and I'm using the darker gray ones on here. And I love the dimension it gives. So in each little cluster there, I've got 3 of the enamel dots in a small, medium, and large. And then I have 3 stars. And then I go back and I add some bitty bling. And I have 3 little bits of red bitty bling in there to just kind of add a little extra red in the overall layout. Sorry, I got my big old elbow in there. I was digging in my kit for it. Love that little bitty bling. It's so cute. And in person, it adds just a wink of color, if you will. Anyway, I'm still debating on where I'm going to put my journaling. And I'm thinking actually over on the right side beside the owl, and then I think, no, I'm going to put it directly on this photo. And I've seen people do it in the white space. Well, my white space is snow, and so I'm thinking I'm going to write it on there, but I have to get my ruler out and create straight lines in order to do it, because I don't trust myself to just get after it. Oh, but first I'm going to add some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in tinsel. And I added just a bit there, and it didn't really want to shake off there really well. And then it ended up getting into the foil, between the foil tag and the vellum tag, and so I had to go back and clean a little bit of it up, and some of the drops on the foil paper were quite chunky, so I went through and cleaned it up some. And it didn't add a whole lot of color, because not a whole lot shook off of that little thing, but I liked how it looked. And that's where it got caught between the vellum and the tag underneath. So I'm nearly done with the exception of the journaling, and the video cuts out. I guess I cut it a little too short, or maybe the camera went off or something. But you see me get my pen out, and then I have to stop for a second and get my ruler. And then you see I have a close-up of it in the photos in the end. And you catch a little bit of it here. Anyway, that's it for my layout. Thanks for sticking around and watching today. And I would love for you to hit the like button, and I would love for you to subscribe. If you make kits out of your own stash, I would love, love, love to see them, because I love them so much. Anyway, thanks. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.